it's a slow process. And also, we put so much expectation when we are outside the United States because everybody hear about the American dream is the land of dream. You're going to get anything you want. And we put so much expectation and we feel like everything will come handy and rosy in the beginning.
Welcome to the Immigrant Experience in America, an immigrant human library, where we amplify and humanize the experiences of immigrants in the United States and around the world. Listen in as we add another story to our immigrant human library.
Hello, my friends, and welcome to another episode of the Immigrant Experience in America. We are happy to share with you another amazing story, and that is that of Sairan Aqrawi.
Thank you, Simone. Thank you for having me.
Thank you very much. I'll open the space for you to tell us who's Sairan. Tell us a bit about who you are, what you're doing, what life has for you right now.
Yes, thank you, Simone, again for having me in your platform. So, who am I? Basically, I'm a mom, I'm a sister, I'm a wife, I'm an engineer, I'm a small business started entrepreneur. All together, I came to United States 1996, many years ago. I was in my 20, not married, skinny, happy, bubbly, thinking that the American dream is so easy. I thought everybody will wait for me at the airport with a bunch of flowers and a red carpet and welcoming me because I'm the smart engineer and they're going to offer me a job right on the spot. Well, the reality hit when I arrived. It was not the same picture I have about the American dream when I was in Iraq. I thought everything is coming in vivid colors and shining and everything easy for me to accomplish. But the reality is, I knew that I have to work very hard in order to make the American dream true. So I am originally Kurdish from north of Iraq. I born in Baghdad. This is why I speak Arabic also fluent. So I speak Kurdish, Arabic, and English. And when I came to United States, I was only having a bachelor degree in civil engineering, knowing this is not enough. This is there is a lot of competition around engineering and tech world. So I decided to go back and finish my master degree. When I finished my master degree, I decided to do my doctoral degree, but at the same time, I was introduced to an opportunity to speak with a group of younger girls who are finishing engineering. That's where I found out that my hidden gem or my hidden talent it's coaching, mentoring, and speaking, and in general, just leaving an impact beside being a full-time engineer. And here I am speaking with you.
Very good. Very nice to have you. You're a woman that wears multiple hats, like so many other immigrant women and men, right? This whole idea of the immigrant mentality, we tend to uh, do so many things. Are you an oldest child?
I'm the middle. We are seven brother and sister. Yeah. I'm
Okay,
the middle.
okay.
Yeah, the middle one who take care of the little one and also take care of the older one. So, and they take care of
Okay.
me too. Yeah.
Right, yeah. So I heard somebody recently say that usually the oldest child that carries a lot of responsibility for everybody, but I guess it could also be the middle child as well. I know a few
Yes.
people who are in the middle and they tend to be appear to be the more ambitious, more,
Giving. Yeah, giving. I feel
yes.
like I have to give all the time, and sometimes that's make you exhausted also, because many times, Simon, like having a personal life and a professional life, it require you to put yourself first. Because if I'm not having that big energy or I'm not able to give back, then my giving will not be 100%. So we always need to recharge that battery, in order to be impactful for others.
Okay. Is there a story to what brings you to the US? If it's too personal, you don't have to share.
Yeah, no, I think my story is not personal. As a matter of fact, it's very public. If you Google the Pacific military operation back in Guam, it's all public information in Google. People can see the way how all those 4,000 people came evacuated from north of Iraq. So it was not my choice. I was forced to come out in my 20 because we used to work for the NGOs, for United Nations and other company who support the United Nations. So back then in 1996, there was a threat or a fear of retaliation from the regime back then, which was Saddam Hussein. that he considered anyone who work for the NGOs or those organizations are considered to be spy, and they have to leave the country. So in the beginning, we thought he's crazy, he's not going to do anything, but then start getting ugly when he started get rid of those staff from Sweden and Australia and America. So the State Department here decided to evacuate all those people who work for United Nations and the other company who also supported UN to come out in a military operation called Pacific Haven. So they brought all of us to Guam, Anderson South. It's a military base in Guam. We stayed there a couple of months, and they consider us as a politic asylee. So we were not refugee for say, because the minute we arrive here, we granted the green card. So it was a little bit easier. It has that military flavor on it because they resettle in Guam and they try in 4 or 5 months to explain to all those Kurdish people this is the real life in the United States. This is not the movie you've seen. This is not a Rocky movie you used to see in back in your country. And the challenge was not necessarily for the people like me who spoke the language and also kind of like spoke the language and also know about a little bit about the culture. It was hard for the people who don't have, they were not fortunate to have education or college degree. So it was hard for those group like the driver, the lady who cook, or the people who was cleaning, the offices. It was everything was shock to them. It was a big culture shock, and they had to settle in Guam for a couple of months with all of us, teaching them the value, what is the principle in the United States, what to expect. And this is a new era, and we all gonna embrace the unknown. So this is how I came.
Okay, good. And I imagine with your parents and you said seven of you as siblings.
Not all of us. No, the requirement was basically if you are single and you're still working with those organizations, you can bring your parent. But if you are married, you can bring your husband and kids. In my case, I was single. I was 26, so I was not able to bring even my parent because my mom didn't want to leave my dad. He was suffering. He was battling cancer back then. So I ended up coming alone. But my uncle was with me, my mom's brother, who live now in Nashville, Tennessee. So I was not really lonely. I was with him and his family, and we all moved to the United States in March 1997.
So where did you actually land? What was it like in the first couple of days after leaving Guam and actually coming to mainland US?
Yes, it was funny, sad, scary, all together, all mixed feeling and emotion. In Guam, we didn't have any um, let's say pressure. You have to go to work, pay taxes. It was a military base. The military staff, they were very, very nice with us. They give us every support and tools and things that we needed back then. But the mayor keep telling us when you arrive to United States, it's totally different story. And he was right. I arrived in Nashville, Tennessee, because that's where my sponsor was. Then, meanwhile, I was still dating my husband who was in DC. So we decided to get married and move back with him to DC. So when I arrived, it's not shock. I mean, it was something you knew it's gonna work, but also you knew it's gonna take a long time to get used to it. Everything was new, everything. And it was my first time ever to be outside Iraq. So it was a big challenge, yeah.
I'm thinking like, so, okay, you arrived to the US, what are your aspirations? A young 26-year-old, was there assistance to find work or you were pretty much on your own at that point? Since I know the US, there's some support for refugees, but I'm not sure for someone in your status, like what sort of support is on the ground for you to kind of find somewhere to live, find work, kind of get yourself established. What was that like for you?
Yeah, we have that kind of support when we arrive. It was, I think it was kind of like not a church. It was like a nonprofit organization was providing like the support, like let's say, education and support about the health, the health support. What are we supposed to do if we have kids? Where to take the kids to school? What is the other thing that we need to do in order to settle and feel this is home for us? I was single, I was young, so I knew it's not going to be my first job will not be the best job yet, because I have to go back and take classes, and my bachelor degree in civil engineering didn't mean anything because I didn't have the experience. My resume doesn't have any date that I work in the United States. So I have to build that resume in order to get the job that I'm really dreaming about. To be honest with you, I doubted my coming. I doubted my decision to stay. And because I was single and I didn't have that much support from my parent, my uncle was busy with his own family. I doubted my decision to stay. And I had days that I thought about just booking the ticket and go back, just saying it's not going to work because it's a slow process. And also, we put so much expectation when we are outside the United States, because everybody hear about the American dream is the land of dream. You're gonna get anything you want. And we put so much expectation and we feel like everything will come handy and rosy in the beginning. And that's the mistake we make because we think that everybody's obligated to offer everything we need. Nobody obligated to offer anything for you here. This is your choice. This is your decision to stay. So you need to work hard in order to really make this American dream a truth, not just something that you hear or seen in movie or somebody told you that the life is very easy here. Anything come easy for me, it's questionable. You have to really sweat. You have to really work hard because when the achievement happen, you feel the value and the taste. It tastes different. It tastes better because you work hard for it. But if I just give you the American dream and a plate and say, here it is, Simone, have it, you're not going to feel the pleasure or the fulfillment the same way when you work hard for it.
How was your English at the time? I'm wondering, like, was that part of the struggle? You must have had some sort of English to work with, the US side of things. But culture shock can be a big deal for a lot of people in a whole
Yeah.
new different world, right?
Yes, the English was not an issue. I mean, I was not speaking fluent the same way I'm doing right now. I was still speaking good English because our college we study in English. I graduate from bachelor in civil. The books, everything was English, and English is mandatory from elementary school in Iraq. So we study English, but of course, you're not going to speak the same accent and fluency that you speak when you come to United States. Our English was mostly a British, British accent, and like we used to use, kilogram and centimeter and meter. And when we come here, said no, everything is pound and foot and inches. So there was a little bit slight, pivot and changes in our information and background. I don't think that the language it was the big hurdle or the big blocks in front of me. I think the challenge that I faced it was lack of support and family system value that I had back in Iraq. I have my parent, I have my brother and sister, and I was missing them dearly because I was the one that everything available to, in the community. I was a swimming coach. I had hobbies. I had friends. I had a support system around me. So when I came to United States and I was 26, I miss all of that because I have to start building those according to the value here. So that's maybe one of the block I faced back then.
Yes, I can imagine at 26. Okay. Talk about landing your first job and trying to understand the expectations of doing an interview and all of that. What was that experience like for you?
Yeah, so the first job has nothing to do with engineering. I got a job for $7, I think 30 cents. It was $7 and a half, back then, 1997, it was a big deal. And when I got promoted, it was at $12. I think I threw a party with my husband. It was a big deal. But the first job, it was in tax administration. I was collecting tax on the lease company. Again, nothing to do with my language, and I'm not background or engineering or anything. And that job create my self-esteem because I was doing a lot of customer service. So I was obligated to speak more English and correct myself. And when people say, we didn't understand what you just said, in the beginning, you take it personally and you think that everybody's racist and everybody hate you and everybody don't wish the best for you. That's normal because this is a new environment, a new era, like I said. So you feel like people are just judging you for who you are. But the reality is, if you think about it deeply, when you come here and if you pay the taxes and you are a good citizen, everyone want you to be successful. Everyone want you to be succeed in your job. There is nothing personal here. It's our decision to keep it personal or not to keep it personal. In the beginning, it was hard because I didn't have a mentor, I didn't have a coach, I didn't even know what to do. So when someone criticized the way how I operate, I felt they are someone who don't need the best for me. So in the beginning, it was hard, and my job has nothing to do with engineering, so I have to learn about tax, I have to do customer service, I have to talk with a lot of people. But like I said, it was the best bridge that I create for my customer service skill. I spoke a better language, I was learning more language skills, I learned more communication, active listening, how sometimes to not to reply to everything if it's not worth your time and energy. Because in this life, if you just react or reply to everything happen in your life, you're gonna get tired very easy. You have to really pick your battle. You have to pick what is really worth your time and continue learning and never stop.
Yeah, so what you're describing there is what some researchers that I came across, I only learned this later on in my life. I wish I knew before. They describe like the cultural adjustment when you move to a new country, a new, completely different environment from the one you were raised in. They call it the W curve. I think it's Gullahorn. It's a couple. And they say, right, you come with the excitement, and then there's a plummet after that when you realize just how difficult this new place is going to be to decode, to understand, to adjust, and all of the emotions that go along with, you don't quite fit in. You stand out like like a sore thumb, and everything everyone says or does just kind of hits you so sensitively. And it's just a part of the initial experience, and then over time you start to adjust, you learn more. It's like you're drinking, as they say, drinking from a fire hose, because there's so much new information that's coming at you, and your emotions are all over the place trying to make sense of it. So it's challenging for everybody who come over. But this W curve really does give you a sense for what that experience is like. Eventually, it kind of settles off where you determine that you're learning, you're building relationships, and you decide, okay, I'm going to try to stay here and try to see how to make this work. But that feeling of wanting to go home and missing your family is very typical. I think all of us go through it.
Yes, true. And you said it very beautifully, Simone. And the word you mentioned about fitting in, we think in the beginning that we have to fit in. I have to be exactly acting, speaking, working like my neighbor who born here. The reality is you don't have to fit in. This country, it's mix of culture, religion, and all kind of nationality. That's what is make it unique, and that's what is make it land of dream. Because you can shine keeping your own principle and your own culture and value. Nobody asking you here. There is no rules telling you quit everything you've done. If you love dancing back in your country, there is no rules here telling you, oh, you should not dance here. We don't allow dancing. There is no such book or rule or Bible telling you to do that. As a matter of fact, is what you can do. You can keep what has really worked well for you and add what's other good value that's add more skills to you. You pick up the good stuff and you just drop the bad stuff that you don't like. You don't have to blend in totally. There is no regulation for that. But in the beginning, when we come here and try to, like you said, fit in, we think that we have to take the whole culture 100% into us, and that's not right. I mean you don't have to. Again, there is certain things work for you, there is certain things doesn't work. So it's a matter of you being in an awareness position, knowing what's really works for your value and core principle for you and your family, and keep doing it, and just adding a better skill in order to keep moving and going towards the best version of yourself.
Right. So you're making a very good point there by underlining the fact that you have to recognize that you do bring something. You may not speak English well. You may dress differently. You may worship religiously different way. You might just feel like there's so many differences about you that you just don't feel like you fit in. But in fact, you do have value. And the fact that you're saying that whether you dance and you can teach dance, or whether you're like you say you used to do swimming or whatever, you can tap into something because the US marketplace is so varied. And that's the beauty of this place, is that there's always like somewhere that you can use some skill, right? To get yourself started. Customer service is so good. I also worked at Kmart when I first started, and it actually just kind of gave me the opportunity to meet people, to practice speaking, get comfortable with the fact that my accent is going to be different for a long time. It's changed now, but I had to be able to be okay to communicate right where I was, you know? I mean, that's how I sound. I can't change that. So, you show up, you do your job, and you just communicate as best as you can, right where you are at that point of arrival. So,
Totally.
um,
Totally. You be you. You be you. You be just yourself, right? And if you think there is a value here that can add value to who you are and make you a better version, you just pick up. Is it education? Is it communication skill? Is classes? Is it's a technology that add to your job and your personal growth? You're still gonna do it. You will be unique in a way because you didn't born here. I feel like people who come here and this is my opinion now. It was not back then. Back then I was sensitive, but now I feel I am lucky that I'm bringing another culture. I'm lucky I didn't born here. My kids born here. They are still lucky, right? But I'm speaking about myself because now I can solve or come across any issue or problem and having solution in both way. I can have it the American way, how I learned it for the past 29 years, and I can remember how my mom solved that in the 70 and 80.
Join us again next time for part 2 of this episode. We thank our listeners around the world, and we appreciate your continued support as we build our human library. Please remember to give us a 5-star review, subscribe, and share with your friends, family, and circle of influence.